In the past 24, 48 hours or so, Bitcoin has just continued to chug along while altcoins pretty much throughout the market have bled out. I want to talk today about why that's the case, and is this a continuing trend that we'll really see for the next month and a half until the multiple Bitcoin forks that are happening right now. Is this something we're going to continue to see, and how you could potentially play it? So if you are new to the channel, my name is Rob from Crypto Bobby. Hit that subscribe button. Would really appreciate that. And if you have been here for a while, always appreciate your time and you taking the time to join me just to talk about these crazy crypto markets. So over the past, really the weekend right now being Monday morning, I'm in a little mini office conference room right now. But really over the weekend, the altcoin market has just gotten absolutely murdered. Yeah, pretty damn good. So altcoins, I mean, my portfolio of altcoins, I'm pretty heavy Bitcoin, I'm pretty heavy Ethereum, but still probably have about 40% exposure to altcoins. And that 40% exposure to altcoins has just taken a beating at pretty much everything down at between 5 and 15% in a lot of respects. So let's talk a little bit today about why that's happened and if that's going to continue a trend in the future. And quite frankly, I think it is. So first of all, what's happened in the past 48 hours? So first of all, Bitcoin, you can see here, is up about 3%. And that's actually, you can take a look on the charts themselves. This is Bitcoin to US dollar. Bitcoin had a run all the way up to about 4,640, so 4,640 was kind of where that run went to, and had a little bit of a pullback down to the $4,500 range, and has since, kind of since consolidating back up close to and making another run. It looks towards $4,600. So when we're looking at this right now, Bitcoin has had a fantastic day, fantastic weekend. And while you're thinking, 3% maybe not that nuts, but at the same point in time, you're talking about a $76 billion cryptocurrency. So a 3% move is still pretty significant. But at the same point in time, while you're seeing that 3% move, if we're just scrolling down CoinMarketCap, really the only other cryptocurrency that's had a decent amount of success is Ripple. Ripple has again continued a very nice move. You can see in the past 7 days, Ripple's been absolutely crushing it. I have no investment whatsoever in Ripple, but Ripple has been crushing it. I know a lot of people do, but everything else basically is down pretty heavy. Ethereum is down a little bit. It's held up fairly well actually in comparison to everything else, but Ethereum down a little bit. Bitcoin Cash has been getting crushed in the past week. Litecoin's been holding somewhat steady, but Dash has been getting hit. Neo got whomped. Basically everything down about 5%, at least in the top 20 or so. Most things are down. And then outside of that, once you're getting into these let's say mid to small cap coins, you start to see some pretty big, heavy losses. If you're looking at Stratus down close to 15%, Steam down a bunch, Arc down over 10%, Gas down as well. And as you continue to scroll down CoinMarketCap, you see these smaller and smaller cryptocurrencies. For the most part, I have no idea what this is, but no thank you. But you start seeing these bigger and bigger losses. Chainlink, which is one that I made a video on pretty recently, and I'm still pretty much well into. That's down quite a bit, 16%. Binance down 17%. So really you're seeing this, and you're seeing Bitcoin having a nice little bit of a movement, up about 3%, and everything else kind of just, for the most part, in the red. I would say Bitcoin in the green, 75+% of everything else in the red. So why is that happening, and what's the deal? Well, first of all, if you're not aware, there is a hard fork, potential fork coming on, planned fork coming on with Bitcoin. A very big debate right now, or a lot of arguments going on within the Bitcoin community about SegWit 2x versus this no 2x debate, and the fork coming up. So what is potentially going to happen, and there's some other people that have made some really nice videos on this. Jackson Palmer, I'll link to his video. I'll just put it up here somewhere so you can go to that. But he has a nice explanation video on what the deal is with these Bitcoin forks and how to protect yourself. So I don't want to go into it all too much, but bottom line from an investment perspective is a lot of people are taking money out of these altcoins and selling their altcoins because they believe that if Bitcoin forks, it's going to be kind of the same deal as Bitcoin Cash, where back in August, if you had Bitcoin, you basically, depending upon the number of Bitcoin you had, you got free Bitcoin Cash. So as of Bitcoin Cash was doing better at a certain point in time, but basically, I mean, Bitcoin Cash at one point was up above $600-700. So if you had Bitcoin, you would get $600 or $700 or however many dollars worth of Bitcoin Cash, depending upon the number of Bitcoin that you had. The same is going to most likely be true in November when this hard fork happens. If you have, they're still working on the naming convention, but you're going to have Bitcoin, you're going to have Bitcoin 2X, potentially, whatever the hell they want to call it. And then there's also going to be Bitcoin Gold, which is supposed to be coming out as well. So if you're holding on to Bitcoin, you're basically getting these 2 extra cryptocurrencies. And the possibility there could be, those cryptocurrencies could take away market cap from Bitcoin, or if it's the same situation as Bitcoin Cash, where Bitcoin was pretty much unaffected, if not improved after the fork. So not only did your investment in Bitcoin go up, but you also got this free extra dollars of some other random cryptocurrency that was just kind of minted out of nowhere. So a lot of people are taking that money and, whether it's in, you can see NEO down 15% or NEM or whatever it might be, and especially these smaller cryptocurrencies, but taking that money, selling their smaller cryptocurrencies and moving it into Bitcoin in anticipation of the fork. Now, is that the entire reason for the altcoins to be down? No, probably not, but I think that likely has something to do with it. And I mean, we're pretty well in advance of the fork as well. So, I mean, you're pretty far in advance of, I think, some of the projections around the fork is mid-November timeframe of when that fork will actually go down. So, I mean, that's pretty far in anticipation of selling something to get that profit. But we could be in for a pretty turbulent time in the altcoin market. Granted, that's typically the case. I mean, when you're putting your money in these smaller cryptocurrencies, these small to mid-cap cryptocurrencies, yes, you have a greater opportunity for multiple times gains, but you also have a pretty big opportunity for 50-75% losses as well. And it's whether or not you have the stomach for that, as well as whether or not you really want to be playing in that game. I mean, if I'm looking at, I'll pull up my Blockfolio app here, and even though I have probably 30% of my holdings in Bitcoin, now I'm still looking at a 5% decrease over the, I'm still looking at a 5% decrease over the past 24 hours. And that's led by OMG's down about 5%, Civic being down 11%, Manetha, which you want to open up that window and let me jump on Manetha, I will. And then Chainlink down 13%, although that's, still in the positives for me after, a nice little investment in that fairly early. So, but overall, I mean, that's, even if Bitcoin is up quite a bit, people I think are going to start moving more and more of their money into Bitcoin as compared to some of these smaller altcoins in anticipation of the fork. So that's something that you might want to consider doing, or just be aware of the reason in which that's happening. Two things that I think are interesting as this happens is, number one, if this trend continues, this could be a nice buying opportunity for some of these altcoins that have good fundamentals. Not every altcoin that's going down right now has good fundamentals, and maybe it will never come back up. Who knows? But as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, this may be an opportunity at some point in time where people are going to start switching some of their money from Bitcoin or from the altcoins to Bitcoin. You might see a rise from Bitcoin to $5,000 to plus $5,000 to maybe like $6,000 in anticipation of the fork. And then people might flow some of that money back into the altcoins and pump up the price of the altcoins. That's kind of the logical flow that I think how things might happen. Who knows if that actually goes down that way, but as this continues to happen, keep an eye on some of these altcoins that you really like, because these are the days in which I don't know if this downtrend might continue and might continue for a long time, but these are the days typically that you want to buy on when something's down. Like a NEO, if you've been waiting to get into NEO and you're like, oh man, it went up so much money, buying when it's down 15% is never a bad time. So, I mean, these are the days that typically you want to buy, or the types of days that typically you want to, to buy or to dollar cost average your way in. However, it's just part of I think for me, it's part of trying to understand, is this going to be a continuation of the trend? But this could also be, like I said, a good potential. This is the type of day you want to buy in, whether or not you go all in. I would always advise against going all in and dollar cost averaging your way in and doing things in an intelligent manner like that. But it'll be interesting to see how things pan out and where things go. For me personally right now, I'm looking at, if I'm going to give you, my kind of overall strategy right now, I think I'm trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to play this, but I'm looking at shaving some of my position off of things like Omise Go, OMG. I mean, I was talking about this when it was at like $8.50, and it's now down quite a bit from that too. So I'm looking at potentially shaving off some of my position from like OMG, because I've already had some pretty significant gains on that, like 7x gains. Shaving off maybe a little bit of my position in Civic, because I've already had some about 2.5, 3x gains on Civic. So I'm looking at taking a little bit of profits and potentially moving that into Bitcoin in anticipation of the fork and in anticipation of a continued pump going into the fork. Whether or not the forked coins really make that much of a difference, how that happens, I'm probably just going to throw my Bitcoin into my ledger, see what the hell happens, see how things go, and see what goes on there. But I think I'm going to start shaving off some positions and hopefully not do it today on a day where it's down 7%. But if there is a little bit of a recovery, sell kind of towards that top, or after there's a little bit of a recovery. Hopefully we'll have to see how that goes down. But start moving a little bit more and more of my position into Bitcoin, and then to another extent there, Ethereum as well, because I think those are going to be the most stable plays going forward. And I think we might be in for a good amount of volatility here in the next month to month and a half. And a lot of that volatility is going to be driven by Bitcoin uncertainty, but at the same point in time, you're going to feel it most you're going to feel it in the altcoins. So that's, I think, kind of where my head's at. I'd love to hear your thoughts as far as how you plan on playing this movement and how you plan on playing things into the Bitcoin fork or forks. So would love to hear your thoughts on that. And again, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. My name is Rob from Crypto Bobby. Thank you so much for your time today. Really do appreciate it, and look forward to giving you a little bit more information as this continues to develop. And as I make any type of plays in the market, I definitely want to keep you informed as far as what I'm doing and how I'm adjusting my portfolio, so that not that I'm a fantastic example of anything, but that you guys have just a good understanding of where my head's at, and you can either do the exact opposite of what I'm doing, do somewhere in between. But hopefully my entire goal with the channel is just to be as helpful as possible. So really do appreciate the time again. Thank you so much. Rob from Crypto Bobby signing out. Peace.